baseball fans. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Welcome to On Deck. I'm Tyler Redmond. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. I do appreciate it. We are here. We are live, and we got a big week set for the Braves coming up. They got the Marlins, and then they got the Phillies, so a lot of National League East standoffs to be had. And the Braves are looking, it's kind of up and down. A lot of people are mad. A lot of people are feeling a little bit better about the team. It's kind of hard to say right now exactly how I'm feeling. I think we're, in a very similar state as to where we were last year, in the sense of, halfway through the season, nobody thought we were going to be anything in the playoffs. And I think this team still has all the potential in the world to, to flip on a dime and get hot. And I'll tell you why. There's been a lot of cold spells for the Braves. We've had times where it seems no one's hitting. It seems, maybe two or three guys are hitting, but there's never been a time really this year, at least consistently, where everyone was locked in. At least it hasn't felt that way as of right now. And hopefully that will change. It's definitely a concerning thought, that nothing like that has happened. But I think, at some point you got to flip it around. And I really think that time is coming. And I'll tell you again why. If you look at the back of each of these guys' baseball cards, right, none of them are hitting, below 200 on any given year in their career. So to me, it feels like at some point they got to get hot. And I know that sounds real simple. But I'll also tell you that I've seen some development, lately. They just got done facing a really good Brewers team. Of course, in Game 1, they were pretty well shut down. Game 2, they were able to pull out a victory. In Game 3, I thought they hit pretty well. To be honest with you, I thought they should have won that game, and I'm sure a lot of you guys would agree there. But, sometimes it just doesn't go that way in the game of baseball. That being said, you're probably looking at me going, okay, what now? All right, here's what's next. You got the Marlins, and this will be the first time the Braves face the Marlins, or at least Acuna faced the Marlins since he left the game with an injury last year. So that's obviously a very big deal for him. That first game's going to kick off tomorrow at 6:40, basically 7 o'clock Eastern time. But yeah, so you got a series with the Marlins. You follow up with the Phillies. Now, I know a lot of you guys are looking at the standings right now, and you're not happy about it. The Braves are currently 8 games back. In the last 10, they've won 5, they've lost 5. Not been a very good year thus far. I think it can flip around, and 2 big series versus the Marlins and the Phillies. The Braves are in 4th place, the Marlins are in 3rd, the Phillies are in 2nd. So this is a really big chance for the Braves to make a run here and make a big impact and get, let's say 4 or 5 of those games back, from those 2 teams. And they got a long ways to go before they reach the Mets. But if they can, again, win a few against the Marlins and the Phillies and get up to 2nd place as opposed to 4th, that would be big, and it would be big if they can make a big jump on the Mets as well. The Mets have looked good all year. They also lost Scherzer today. They're already down to Grom right now, and they lost Scherzer for the next, I believe, 4 to 6 weeks, maybe longer. So that's obviously a very big deal for the Mets, very big deal for the Braves as well, because I think it sets up a possibility for, again, just additional support in getting those games back. So hopefully that will be the case. That's where I think the Braves are right now. I do think they can make a run. I do think that, we're about to see something change. There's been these sparks. I've been talking about these sparks for a while now, and we've seen them. We've seen great moments, and I think they'll only continue. I think a question mark right now that you'd be valid in having is the bullpen and of course the offense. We've talked a lot about the offense. The bullpen is actually a question mark, which none of us thought would happen because, beginning of the year, there was conversation about the Braves having the best bullpen in baseball.
The Braves have the best arm barn of all time. Maybe the 2015 Royals, 1998 Yankees, 1990s Reds, maybe the current White Sox, but I think this is the best of all time.
And, I agreed with it. I completely agreed that, the Braves certainly had, conversation for the best bullpen in baseball. But this is the graphic we were using, prior to the season. And you just look at that top line, 2 of those guys aren't there. You look at the bottom line, Tyler Matzik gone as well. So 3 out of these 7 guys, which were, the number, probably the top faces of the pen, and there's more, don't get me wrong, but these were the top faces of the pen. 3 of those guys are gone, which means a lot of innings are there to cover. A lot of people weren't happy with the Jesse Chavez move to the pen the other day. I don't know what choice Brian Snitker had. Truly, I don't, because I believe they had already burnt Kenley, and Will hasn't exactly been locked in. They had already used McHugh, Minter as well. I don't know what choice. These guys are probably operating on short rest. A lot of that's due to injury. Now, do I think this is going to have long-lasting effects? No, because again, you're losing 3 of those. Luke Jackson's out for the year. We know that. He's not coming back this season. Kirby Yates should be around August, the same time Mike Soroka comes, which means, when Soroka comes back, I think you may see, some of those guys in the minors become bullpen pieces. You could add that way, but also I don't think Matzek's going to be gone for the year. I don't think that at all. I think he'll be back, after basically, I think he needs rest. I think he needs, more rest. I think that's all that needs to happen there. Will, we all know how Will locked in last year in the postseason. Hopefully that'll be the case this year. Beyond that, though, I mean, the bullpen has good pieces. It's not that the bullpen pieces aren't good, because it's really not that at all. It's that they're operating on short rest. So it's just got to come together. The pieces are there. I mean, you look at the lineup up and down, and, I don't see a problem in it. I mean, like, there's nothing in the lineup that makes me go, yeah, that guy needs to be taken off. It's hopefully he comes around, but Acuna coming back, right? He's coming back from injury. He's been what we expected, if not more, based on his injury. Matt Olson has been fairly decent this year. He's what we expected he'd be. Austin Riley seems to be coming out of his little slump, but he's been fairly consistent this year. Marcell Ozuna, that's where I think we could use some improvement, to tell you the truth. And then as soon as I say that, he hits a 2-run homer the other night. So there's holes in the lineup, but they're not holes that are valid to be replaced, if that makes any sense. You're not going to replace Ronald Acuna. You're not going to replace Matt Olson. You're not even going to replace Austin Riley. Probably not Marcell Ozuna in that regard either. I mean, these guys, for one, are good players, and for two, are getting paid to be there. I hate to say it, but that's part of it. You're not going to replace those guys. You have to leave them there. You have to give them the chance to get out of it. Now in terms of guys that I think could improve, we have some. Adam Duvall, who seems to finally, he's taking the ball the other way. He seems to have come around to some degree, and I think you're going to see that more as the weeks go on here coming up. I think you're going to see more of the lineup, taking what the pitcher gives them. And, right now, I think that's what we're looking for. I think we need the lineup to come back and be what they were last year, be what they were the year prior to that. And we just have not seen it. So that's a problem. And, of course, I think the pen right now needs some help. I don't know if it's something that we're going to make a trade for, because we have a lot coming back. Like I mentioned, Kirby Yates is coming back. I assume Tyler Matzek is coming back at some point. And not even that. You have a lot of young pitching that you don't want to give up in a trade. But beyond that, you have a lot of young pitching that can also contribute. Tucker Davidson, we saw him the other day, look great in the starting rotation. Down in the minors, there's more than that. And this is a year, guys, and you're not going to like to hear this. I think the Braves are going to compete in the postseason in some form or fashion. And I'm going to stick by that for right now. If they continue on this trend, they won't. But I do think at some point they're going to break out and compete. That being said, this year has been a year for the young pitcher for the Braves. Early on, who was the guy that was leading the charge? Kyle Wright. Then who was it? Bryce Elder, who came out of nowhere and performed excellently out of the minors. Spencer Strider's been great. Tucker Davidson has been great from what we've seen this year. And this is something that I think, we need to take note of. And look, I know we just won a World Series, and that's where our heads are at. We just want to win a World Series. You got to win the division first and foremost. That being said, it's also, you have to develop your team. And if this year is nothing, if it's nothing but developmental, I think that's a success. Now, that being said, I do think they're going to compete. I have every reason to think they can compete. But again, you have a lot of youngsters. You have a lot of young guys in the pitching department, rather. And, as much as we have some veterans in Charlie Morton, who seems to finally be back to where we expect Charlie Morton to be, as much as we like seeing that, Max Fried is another one that seems to be back to where we expect Max Fried to be. If they can get on par, if they can eat some more innings and limit how much the pen is going to have to be used, then I think you're going to start to see some success and some, you're going to see some low scoring ball games from the opponent. Kyle Wright as well. If they can just eat innings, that's going to be, where the success comes in. And that can vary as the season goes on. But again, I think that's where we're at. I think that's what we need to prioritize. And I do think we're going to see a flip here. I really do. And to be honest with you, what I'm looking forward to, this series versus the Marlins and the Phillies, right? I think you could see a run here. I think you could get some games back, maybe even jump second place, because the Braves are 8 games back from first, which is the Mets, but they're only a game back from the Phillies. So a couple wins over the Marlins, a couple wins over the Phillies, they're in second place. So, I really think that could happen, but it's not what I'm most looking forward to. I'm most looking forward to about August. And, a lot of people are going to wonder, are we going to trade? Are we going to make moves at the deadline? I don't know that that's the case. But what I do know is Soroka comes back. At least he's going to be back in some form or fashion. We don't know what version of Mike Soroka we're going to get, but he'll be back. Kirby Yates will be back. And hopefully Tyler Matzik will be as well. So I think we're going to get a lot back. I think we're going to, I think that's going to help tremendously.
Baseball fans, make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to this channel. As always, thank you for your support.